Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at people reveal their family secrets. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. My grandfather did not die of a heart attack in the garage. My grandmother accidentally hit him with the car. I never knew why my grandmother refused to drive anywhere and preferred walking. What happened was she was in the driveway trying to back out. He was standing in front of the car guiding her. She thought she was in reverse. She was looking back, pressed the gas. Car went forward and pinned my grandfather against the garage door. He died later that day in the hospital. That is horrifying. Many years later, I had overheard my dad telling someone that his father had died of a car accident. I interjected and said he died of a heart attack in a car. That's not a car accident. I was then let in on the family secret. I was 6 at the time, and I still remember her sobbing uncontrollably at his wake. Almost screaming. She kept calling out to him. She had to be removed from the room. They had been married 52 years. She never drove after that. She would walk miles to the grocery store. She borrowed a shopping cart and would bring that back and forth. She never spoke about how he died, but spoke about him all the time. She would always tell me stories and ask about my memories of him so that I wouldn't forget him. She would tell people he died of a heart attack, that she found him in the garage, which is where I got that story from. I think that was a kind of coping mechanism so that she wouldn't have to deal with the truth. She lived another 23 years with that guilt. She was a strong lady. Oh, that must be so painful to live with too. Like to lose someone that you love and to just be guilty about it for your entire life. That's the worst. My father always talked about how his brother lied to a doctor so he could get on disability. I thought it was so easy for anyone to get a disability check. All you had to do was tell your doctor you were abducted by aliens. Years later, my father had a mental breakdown. He started telling stories about people implanting a chip in his brain. He went out and got a CAT scan as proof, and he would point to things that weren't there. My dad was diagnosed as a schizophrenic, and years later, he started collecting a disability check because he couldn't hold a job. As an adult, it dawned on me when my aunt mentioned mental illness runs in the family. My uncle had never lied to his doctor. He told that doctor what he believed to be the absolute truth. He had been abducted by aliens. Whoa. Oh my gosh. What if he really was? Now I just feel bad. Like, what if it's true but no one believes him, you know? Like that kind of thing, you know? Like, you know how you see in movies, they say this kind of thing and then people send them to a mental hospital because they think they're crazy, but they're actually telling the truth kind of thing. This makes me think about that. Last year, I found out my dad isn't actually my biological father. He got my sisters and me those Ancestry DNA kits for Christmas to do for fun as a family, and once we got the results, it showed he wasn't my biological father. The screwed up thing is my mum knew the whole time and never told anyone. For 26 years, she kept this as a secret and never had the intention of telling the truth. When I confronted her about it, she denied, and then once I showed her the results, she finally confessed. She'd had an affair with her college boyfriend while my dad was on a business trip for a couple months. After I found all this out, things finally started making sense. Her and I have never had a great relationship. I always envied other girls growing up that had great mother-daughter relationships and never understood why that couldn't be me. She was very verbally and sometimes physically abusive towards me growing up, but never towards my sisters. She knew I was the product of her affair and she was ashamed, so she would take it out on me. I was always told I was 6 weeks premature, but now I know she was lying so she could keep her timeline straight so my dad wouldn't find out about the affair. She had another affair with my soccer coach when I was 10, which led to my parents' divorce later that year and blamed me for it. All of her wrongdoings she would blame me for, and now it all makes sense. She's a really messed up woman. I'm not on speaking terms with her anymore, nor do I really care to meet my biological father. Maybe someday, but I'm not ready to. My relationship with my dad has never been better, and that's all I really care about. Whoa. She did something wrong, but she would take it out on her daughter instead. Seriously? That's honestly so messed up. Like, you brought her into this world, and you're gonna blame her for everything wrong that you've done? Seriously, I'm just so glad that her relationship with her dad is good, you know, is still good. Whew. I didn't know one of my cousins existed until I was about 10 years old. Turns out he was diagnosed with leukemia as a child, and I was a very sensitive kid. So my family decided not to tell me until the treatment was successful and he recovered. It would have been okay if they told me as soon as he was healthy again, but I guess they forgot. So the first time I met him, I was wondering how exactly I managed to forget the existence of a whole person. Oh, so they didn't even know they had a cousin because the family didn't tell them. Like, oh right, we forgot to tell you, you actually have a cousin. I thought this was gonna end sad, you know. I thought it was gonna be like, okay, yeah, you guys know what I mean. But yeah, thank gosh, everything is okay. My pet rabbit got attacked by something a couple years after I got it. My parents found it dead and replaced it before I found out. I just thought my rabbit lived super long, but it was actually 2 rabbits. This happened over 10 years ago and I found out last year. You didn't even realize there were different rabbits. How could you not realize your rabbits were different, huh? My grandma remarried when my mum was a toddler. Turns out that biological dad was cheating on grandma with her best friend, resulting in a child and a divorce. He recently passed away after having no contact with us since he left grandma. Turns out our family was his secret family and that his current family never knew about. He also mentioned that it's very likely my mum has a couple dozen half-siblings in Vietnam. Also, he left all his money to his favorite prostitute in his will. What? What happened? Man, that sucks to find out you were a secret family and that he had to keep you guys hidden so he could be with his family. But he left no money to his family but left all his money to his favorite prostitute. My grandfather was a typical tough, rugged mountain man. He never expressed emotion and in fact rarely ever even spoke at family gatherings. He would just sit in the corner drinking beer. I never felt that he and I had a very good relationship, considering I was the weird, artsy kid in the family. We didn't have much to talk about because we couldn't relate to each other well. He died of lung cancer 2 years ago. A couple of months after he died, I was visiting my parents and my mum pulled out a shoebox that belonged to him, filled with sentimental photographs that he kept hidden in his closet. Nobody knew about it until after he died, and they were cleaning his things out. Almost every single photograph was of me. It broke my heart. I wish I would have been closer to him. He clearly loved me a lot more than I thought he did. Oh my gosh. I feel like this is most grandfathers, you know. Like, they clearly have like a soft spot for you, but they just act like they don't, you know, but they really care about you and stuff. Man. That's the thing though, like we don't know about these kind of things until it's too late, and it's sad. That my grandparents didn't talk to each other 20 years before my grandfather finally kicked the bucket. They lived in the same house the entire time too, and no one knows why they weren't on speaking terms. Wait, so we still don't know why? What's the secret? What happened? What? They didn't talk to each other for 20 years? How do you not talk to someone that you live with for 20 years? What is this? That my aunt's close friend that she lives with is actually her girlfriend. Was about 22 when they told me. Never even thought about it until it was said. Weird how I was completely oblivious to this for so many years. Oh, wow. She kept it a secret. When I was 7 years old, I remember my mum was really excited and telling me I was gonna have a little sibling. Then one day she suddenly stopped talking about it. I kinda just assumed she made a mistake and really wasn't pregnant. Fast forward to last month and she told me that pregnancy ended in a miscarriage. Probably should have expected that, but it was still kind of shocking to hear. Well, yeah, I don't think I would even know about miscarriages as a 7-year-old. I mean, maybe. Like, it's just hard to explain that to a kid. My mum, aunt, and uncle always called my pup by his first name, not dad or anything. When I was a kid, I thought maybe he just wanted them to call him by his name. Then one day, my mum mentioned something about her dad. I think she means my pup. Nope. My mum was the product of an affair and both men My Gram's first husband and my mum's biological dad thought of her as their own and basically co-parented. This was in the early 1960s. Both men raised my mum as a daughter until my Gram's first husband passed away. And before anyone says anything about my Gran, she was married off when she was 16 to an older man to save face for the family. It was not a marriage of love but convenience. She fell in love with my grandpa and had permission from her first husband to pursue the relationship. Oh my gosh. I'm assuming the first husband must have loved her a lot to let her do that, you know. That's crazy though. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!